November 1st, 2010. This is Diehard Gamer Radio Show 100.
You are approaching the target of attack. Your mission starts now. Are you ready? The countdown begins. 3, 2, 1, go.
You are listening to Diehard Gamer Radio, the source for off-mainstream video game news and topics. And now, your hosts, Murdock, Brian, John, and Steve.
Just a couple more shots.
That's a lot of zeros for us.
Yeah, it's 2.
Wow, tons.
Yeah, we're just drowning in zeros right here.
The 2 zero spaces to accommodate the double-digit number of people who have listened to this podcast total ever.
Counting
Okay.
Murdock's mom.
Yes.
She doesn't listen to this podcast.
Oh, snap.
She probably liked this podcast. She might not know what we're talking about, but she's like, that Brian, he's a funny guy.
Yeah.
I was just looking at the ad stats, and that does, in fact, give us enough padding for everybody who's ever clicked through.
That's some great work there, Lou.
Don't forget the Japanese equivalent is 2 decimal points to the left, so it's actually 1.00.
And it's some sort of different counting system for podcasts.
Yep.
Okay, so it's not like long, slender
Base
things or
1,000 counting
or
system.
small female things. It's some completely
digital abacus.
That's how many hamsters total we've killed.
So with me for this very special podcast, and I don't mean special in that way.
Oh, good. I was getting nervous.
Well,
Now we're going to get letters.
you know, it's not where the podcast gets its first period, nothing like that. So we have John, the real deal Krukoff. I have Steve.
At least I got Chicken Walsh.
I have Brian Skinny Boy Jones. And coming back for his 101 appearance on Diehard Gamer Radio, we introduce Bakudan, who is a director of Non-DesCon, Denver's premier Japanese animation convention.
Oh, man, you left off the Great and Mighty. Now we're never going to get
Oh,
any
great. All
advertising
right.
out of
Take
MK.
2. Take 2. We welcome back the extra rich and creamy. Oh, no, wait, that's not it.
That's horrid.
And you're deeply offended and wish I would stop.
These bits cost
Go
money.
for it. Yeah.
So, but Non-DesCon is a great convention, and they do wonderful things for the lowly community. I mean, something else.
You're a nasty man.
Oh, really? See, but it takes a nasty man to recognize
But is he
that.
wrong? But is he wrong?
Am I wrong?
I have no comment on the lowly community at large.
So
With
how's
at
small-
As the
large
case
being.
may be, yeah, at large.
The
exactly.
low large.
Low large.
So how's the Panel Van Savings Fund coming?
Bakudan, you want to comment on that?
I have no
You're-
comment at this time.
Oh,
Wow,
you-
this is like a Senate hearing.
I'm kind of feeling
So
that
is
right
it
here.
true that funds have been allocated for the NDK party van? Yes or no?
No, that would be a negative at this time.
Was the NDK directors on the grassy knoll?
I am requesting to plead the Fifth Amendment at this time.
Okay.
On the
Oh, come
grounds that I
on.
would
Are you saying
incriminate
that
myself.
one of them were outside? You and your conspiracy theories.
All right. That's enough nonsense now. Let's get
on
to the
scripted nonsense.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, we go over our first bit of news, Space Channel 5 Part 2, and Sega Bass Fishing coming for XBLA and PSN, which would interest people who like...
The move on Sony's PS3.
Is Space Channel 5 for the Kinect?
I don't think so. I
Because
think
that really seems like the logical thing that should happen.
It can't possibly be because I think Part 2... Didn't Part 2 already come out on another platform?
Yeah, part 2 was out on the Dreamcast.
Yeah,
about
so this has to
10,000
just be a
years
cheap
ago.
port.
Yeah.
Along with Sega Bass Fishing, come to think of it.
Yeah, that's true.
Didn't they also... There was like an Xbox collection that had Part 1 and Part 2 on it or something.
There may have been.
There
I
was.
also have no comment on Space Channel 5.
How about Sega Bass Fishing?
I have no comment on bass fishing.
Ass fishing.
Sega
No, that's a different game.
Yeah, that's true.
They play that in San Francisco.
That's where the buckfucker and the ass fishing go together.
I was always tempted
Are
to
you
play
a
that
buck
one.
fucker?
To play that one just to justify buying that stupid plastic fishing reel controller.
Yeah.
It's only good for that game.
You could just go to Game Force Boulder and pick one up for like $5. It's cheaper than the download.
Well, yeah, but now I'd have to haul my Dreamcast out of the basement, and that ain't
No.
gonna happen.
It's a thing that keeps the water heater balanced. I mean,
It's taking up valuable space.
It's a load-bearing Dreamcast. You can't afford to move it.
well, yeah, but do you have any interest in playing ass fishing?
Not with
Sega
the video
Bass
game.
Fishing.
Not.
Maybe with Ooh La La. I don't know. Really, what's involved? Yeah.
So next news. Professor Layton and Phoenix Wright is a thing now. So like solving puzzles and like solving cases, now you can have the best of both worlds. It's your chocolate and your peanut butter all together in a video game.
So this Japanese Law and Order then?
It actually,
All they need is Detective Conan in here, and now it'll be all set.
Well, they
Yeah,
got it
they-
in the UK now, so they might as well move it to Japan
That's-
next.
It'd be, Detective Briscoe and Detective, Conan and
Detective Briscoe.
from Law and Order.
Oh, it would help
Lenny-
if I
Lenny
actually
Briscoe.
watched Law and Order.
I
thought
thought it was
you-
actually going to be kind of exciting to see it in the UK, but they're actually doing the original scripts from the first American
are they
season
really?
just in the UK.
Oh my god.
It's like, really?
Well-
come on.
See, they can't just use the ones from the first season. They gotta mix them up. They got like 11 seasons. No one would notice if they reused them and just randomly did it.
What do you think they've been doing for 11 seasons?
Well, except for the Moot one. The Moot one was great.
What? No, which one was this?
The last episode, the villain was named Moot. And
That's
he ran
awesome.
an online social network thing.
There's nothing more to say. It's really a moot point.
I guess on the plus side, if you're using 11-year-old stories, maybe people won't realize they just, copied them down off the NYT.
Well, maybe so.
Or they could just base it off actual British television series at some point.
Well, see, they can't base it on actual events ripped from the headlines because there's no headlines in Britain.
Not to mention they don't carry guns around out there, so that kills about half the scripts. That'd be really threatening with a bobby.
Now, if there's anything British movies have taught me, it's that the NRA is right and the criminals will still get guns.
Yeah. Oh, the Brits will agree with you. They have no problem with that.
Well, they just have to
They just
find
have to
more
follow the
creative
rules.
ways to kill people in Britain, like curry or some sort of boiled pizza or some kind.
Boiled pizza. Yeah, that's
Oh, I think their own bad food kills enough of them yearly. I don't-
I
So,
guess that would be a bagel pizza.
what's wrong with what's wrong with a bagel pizza?
It'd be like, actually, it'd just be one big pizza roll.
that's starting to sound better and better.
Yeah.
It sounds so awful.
Yeah.
It's like the opposite of Japan. You're like, that's an interesting flavor. And then the more you think about it, you go, oh, no.
So next,
Avoid the taco pizza.
yeah,
Cream cheese pizza.
that's probably real.
What? No, cream corn pizza.
Yeah, I know that's a real thing.
I know it's a real thing.
Definitely real. Yeah.
Yes,
It's a real sick thing.
And horrid.
How do you
Yeah.
even eat that? I don't understand.
with a spoon.
You slurp
With
it.
a straw.
Yeah.
It's one of those big pixie stick, the jumbo pixie stick straws.
like the ones you get for 7-Eleven for Slurpees.
I can't, it doesn't work anymore. There's a pepperoni stuck in it.
You suck so hard, you shoot a piece of corn up into your brain.
And then you get hired by the next Bukkake film director.
Yeah, how did you do that? They want to know.
Well, it's an ancient trick.
Yeah.
Evolved in
Ancient
Nebraska
Japanese
long,
secret,
long
huh?
ago.
So
Two guys who were bored out of their mind.
So now that we've thoroughly discussed Professor Layton and Phoenix Wright, let's go to our next bit of news: KOF 2002 Unlimited match for XBLA, which would be interesting to you, Bakudan?
No, but probably to Brian. And Brian's a big King of Fighters fan, for which I
tempted.
like to mock him. So
And
Good
why,
times.
why do you mock him?
it's a habit, really.
Well, is it because he likes King of Fighters?
He's in
or-
counseling for it.
Yeah, he's in counseling. I mean, you can't hold it against
Well,
him.
now, you've never actually been a fan of the King of Fighters series,
I
right?
don't dislike the King of Fighters series, but I do dislike the insanely complex moves required to pull off a single fireball within the King of
Oh,
Fighters.
You
no,
mean
it's
a
just some of the early
fireball
ones.
motion?
You're
No,
thinking
no,
more
no.
Fatal Fury.
Am I thinking Fatal Fury? I'm thinking
Yeah,
of the
King of
game
Fighters
that
was- they were complex
requires
in
you to
94.
dislocate your wrist
Yeah.
to perform the move.
That's Primal Rage.
Well, some of the characters in King of Fighters were brought in from Fatal Fury. They were the ones with the complex moves, but most of the characters have a pretty simple move set, so it's not too bad. It just depends on which year you played it and which characters were involved in it.
You see what I'm talking about now?
I've
The
never.
only thing I would like to point out
I own
about
them
this,
all. What do you?
about this news article is it is now 2010.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's true. The King of Fighters are kind of falling behind a little.
I'd also like to point out that that was a lie on Murdock's part. There are no special moves in Primal Rage.
That's true. That's very
Only
true.
retarded dino moves.
Yeah.
I was not willing to admit to knowing that, but you saved me from
No,
that.
there were
so.
special moves, kind of like Weapon Lord. I mean,
Or Weapon Lord or Time Killers.
Time, yeah.
Time
Yeah.
Killers.
That-
That classic.
I owned
What?
on that arcade.
okay,
at the
your
Array
your
campus.
your definition of the word classic might be different than mine.
Well, isn't that the game that killed Midway?
No,
No.
because Time Killers was not Midway. That was
Which
some
was
other
the
company.
Mortal Kombat fighting game? The one that was made by the.
It's called
by
Mortal
I was,
Kombat.
no,
gonna,
no,
yeah, I was
after
thinking
that.
that myself.
I
yeah.
think it was War Gods.
War
Oh,
Gods.
War Gods.
That was a piece of crap. We
That was a
played that
terrible
at
game.
E3 in '96.
They
Yeah.
spent a lot
Stand-up
of money
arcade
on
there.
that thing, and I'm fairly certain it contributed significantly, if not wholly, to the death.
Well,
of Midway.
well,
It was supposed to be the
That was their
preemptive,
ET.
Well-
3D Mortal Kombat, and it
Yeah,
just was a
it
piece of
and then it
crap.
didn't help that they followed it up with was it Mace the Dark Age?
Yes, I remember that steaming pile. It was a
Yeah.
wonderful game.
So just one hit after another. You know, I guess they kept making money after, you know, doing a sequel to Area 51. Who knows? So
Well, they finally made a comeback. I mean, they did Mortal Kombat versus DC, which was actually a pretty
yeah,
cool
but
game.
they're gone now. Aren't
yeah. So
think
I
they're-
think
I
it's
think they did-
Warner
I think they're
Interactive
bankrupt.
now owns the rights to Mortal Kombat 9. Which, have you seen video of that?
I have seen the video trailer thing for the alleged movie that was posted sometime
Have you
ago
seen
on
the actual
internets.
game footage?
I've not seen actual
You
game
need to
footage.
see the actual game footage.
I read an interview with Ed Boon, but I've not seen any footage.
You will need to watch the footage. I think it's highly relevant to your interests.
All right then, link me up.
Because I think you like the Mortal Kombat.
I do in the same way that Brian likes King of Fighters.
I like 2. You know, it's the same way with almost every fighting game out there. The second game is the perfect version of the game, and then after that, they just start adding crazy shit to it. But it's, for the most part, the second game is like the best version, and it's like the same with Tekken, Mortal Kombat,
Soul
Fatal
Calibur.
Fury, Soul Calibur.
I think the major
like they got
problem
all
with
the bugs out.
with Mortal Kombat 3 is like the character selection scene was basically an entire football team.
Yeah.
No, an entire football team, I think, would have actually been fewer characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
They need
basically,
to supply bigger screens so that they could
or
fit
just
more
bring them
characters.
all into NFL Blitz.
If they kept going that way, it would have been eventually they just supplied, you know, a 2-player versus version of Mortal Kombat on the X-Men machine, the 6-player one. It had to have 3 screens just to show all the characters.
I would have played that shit.
Yeah.
So next up, disc-free Netflix. I was going to say steaming, but streaming arrives.
Well, some
for
people with the Wii would agree with you.
PS3 and Wii. We're not doing the Wii jokes. We're trying to do a classy
Turn
100th
over
episode.
a new leaf with the 100 episode.
Yeah.
A new Weef.
Well, you need to
Yeah.
We'll cover up the Wii with the leaf.
My brain is full of fuck.
Berserker.
So does Netflix appeal to anyone that owns these systems, or do we even care?
I watch it on my phone now.
You watch Netflix on your phone.
Yeah, I do it at lunch at work. I've caught up on so many movies that I had on my queue. It's ridiculous.
Well, my Xbox was broken for a while, and I had to use the PS3 for Netflix. Putting the disc in was
That's pretty
5 seconds. Of
Tragic. It ruined the entire movie
For a
experience.
system
It totally
that
did. It
advanced,
shattered
just
the
seems like
illusion.
it's such a stupid thing to have to do for such an advanced system. I'm
Well,
like,
well, now
why
they're-
would you need a disc?
Well, that
really?
Because
Well, it was
Microsoft wrote a
licensing.
good contract.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they wrote a good license with Netflix.
so
I'm
so
surprised it expired this quickly. I would have thought it would have been like Xbox, contracts with Netflix for the perpetuity of the human race, that the only Microsoft products could have console-based Netflix launch.
now,
I would
Steve,
just- yeah.
Steve,
What?
they're not EA.
No, but They have more money than EA.
Prior to my phone, though, I always watched it on the 360 because it just was almost perfect on there. I've had very few problems with it, so it always worked smooth as long as you were connected. So
I
would love to have tried it out, but Netflix will not talk to me.
Really?
Ever since that one time. Yeah.
That one time, what you got
one time
pregnant?
when
what did
one
you do to
time.
the disc?
We'll have to discuss that in another podcast.
Tell us, where did the disc touch you?
Yeah. Where did you touch the disc?
So next up, we have Jeep Wrangler Call of Duty Black Ops Edition announced, which would interest Brian.
Well, it just needs like 10 more specialized words after it.
Yeah, there needs to be more
The
licensing
Call of Duty
attached
Black
to
Ops
it.
Special Edition, Limited Black Primo, High Chassis, and Rock and Roll 4 and 4.
LL Bean version.
Yeah, LL Bean, man.
Yeah.
'Cause that makes it so cool.
Super Turbo Hyper Edition for matching service. Yes,
I do think this is about $5,000 for a sticker.
I think.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I bet you it's more.
Well, the MSRP is $36.25 for 2-door. So I don't know if that's.
I'd
good
have
for
to
a
look at
Jeep.
the stats on it. If they're matching the Rubicon with the
It
under
is.
the
I mean,
4x4
it's a
package
Rubicon.
underneath. Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Well, then it's probably worth it because the Rubicons are they're high end, but they come with the real. They have the stock 4x4 lift package underneath.
Now,
Yeah, I mean, it's a good vehicle, but you're paying, realistically speaking, still $2,000 more than the Rubicon to get their sticker on the side of the thing.
yeah, but does it actually come with Black Ops people?
Does it sneak up behind you and snap your neck?
You know, I'd buy it if they had an Xbox built into it and you could play it on the back of the vehicle.
I wouldn't care what kind of car it was. I would buy it too. I would buy whatever vehicle they built an Xbox into. I am down.
You want that to be a factory option on your next purchase?
That would be yes.
Oh, dude,
Yeah,
all
but
you gotta do
When
is
I get
add
to be Tony Stark rich, then that'll be my.
all we gotta
that'll be
do
my
is add
next
an
car.
extra battery to your car, and we could wire an Xbox into the back of it. It's
See, I
not
love
that
how he's
hard.
already got this.
Yeah,
planned
but
out.
the problem is if your Xbox Red rings, you can't start your car.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
That's why you need to be a factory option so you can, pack the whole thing in the coffin and send it back.
Yeah,
There needs
there
to be
you
a
go.
Metal
You have
Gear
to
Solid
send the
version
car
of
back
the
too.
Hi Xbox, there's gonna be a cargo container coming your way.
Yeah.
Can you send me foam to put around my car?
Although I was annoyed about that. Apparently, Xbox doesn't send you coffins anymore.
No, they stopped doing it about 6 months ago.
Little did I know all the previous times it failed, I should have kept one of those.
That's why I kept my last one.
For those of you playing at home, John has gone through 25,000 Xboxes.
And
Just
hasn't
didn't
saved
have
a
room
damn
to store all the
box.
boxes. Yeah.
No, actually, you've gone through what, 4?
That was 3.
This is number 4, so I've gone through 3.
Serious? Oh, jeez.
I haven't had a single problem since I bought the arcade.
Well, you don't
You
play
don't
it
get
either.
on that often.
You know, if
Yeah,
you
but
don't
when I
play
do
your
play, I
Xbox,
play
it
for
does
long
last
periods of
longer.
time.
That's true. Yeah.
I will say in Microsoft defense, I have yet to pay a dime for any of them.
Huh?
Yeah, you've always been within that contract, so that's
Yeah.
at least nice. My second one, or my repaired one, my original repaired one, broke like 3 months after it was out of contract. So I
Bummer.
gave it to a friend for the cost of repairs and sent it in, and he just took it, and I went and bought a new one. But I wanted to get the HDMI out, and I wanted the 60 gig anyways, so it's
That's
a
what I
good time
say.
to jump up.
So Brian,
But I haven't had a problem with that one since. So,
you're the Jeep guy. Does this type of Jeep interest you? Bottom line.
like I said, if it was a 360 in it and a monitor, I would pay the extra $2,000, and it would be considerably cool. But
Or if you could
The
drive
fact
it
they're
with the
doing-
controller, that'd be awesome. Too.
I would totally like to
you'd
see
have to
the-
pilot it with Connect.
No, no, that's a cool idea though. Have the hood fold halfway up with your monitor in there, and the Xbox controller is actually built into the steering wheel. Now that would be awesome.
just don't drive after you're done playing some Burnout.
Yeah.
Well, at least they're making an honest to goodness sweet edition out of it. It's not just a crap Wrangler with a symbol
They
on
did
the
start
side.
at the top of the line.
Yeah, they started with the top of the line Rubicon, and if it's got the full package in it, it's totally worth buying. I mean, it's just you know.
They need to come up with a Rubicon, and actually have a Rubicon based off that TV series Rubicon.
I'm curious to know how many Navy SEALs are going to go buy one of these.
Actual or imaginary Navy SEALs.
We wouldn't see them.
Yeah, exactly.
They're going to come in and go, "Ooh, Black Ops! I think that one's for me."
You know, some
Just with that facial expression,
Yeah, I
too,
know.
for all you guys at home.
yeah, some guys like sneaking up behind Deal and Doug, going, "All right."
Besides, that's the wrong way to be invisible. You buy a Camry.
All right, next
Yeah.
up,
Yeah.
design panties for a video game as a promotion for the new Prinny 2 platformer, Prinny 2 Dawn of Operation Panties Dude. And no, I'm not making that title up. The company is holding a contest where you get to design Etna's panties. Yeah. So they will actually, if you win, you will actually get a black thong with your design on it. Which will
Isn't that what we all dream about? Our own thong?
I was going to say, are they sizing out the thong, or do you just get whatever they have laying
No,
around?
no fanboy will be able to fit in any one of these, no matter what size it is.
It's a
And
thong.
he'll
It's
never be
like
able to find
floss.
anyone else to fit into it either.
Yes.
Are
It'll
they
be
going to
like-
ship the copy with the game?
That's a very good question. And will they be in separate packages? Because that's
Negative. The size
And will your-
-5.
And more importantly, will your thong have been pre-worn?
it wouldn't be Japanese if it wasn't.
I give out.
So if you like designing panties for a demon chick,
It's my secret hobby.
It
I
is.
Panty designing.
It's not so secret, Steve. Sorry.
Damn it.
yeah.
Can you fit Lady Death on a thong?
And can I fit Lady Death into a thong?
No, on a thong. I'm sure she was already in one in some comic at some point.
I see.
Unfortunately, this wouldn't work well for me because my version of Etna does not wear panties. And oh wait, sorry.
So you just make the
80
skin-colored
grand,
ones.
The 80 grand real doll version that you have.
Yes. Let's go with that. Comes with Chris Hansen waiting in
Yeah.
the box for me. He's like, so, Mr. Murdock, why don't you have a seat over here? So tell me, why'd you do it? I did it for the lulz.
Yeah.
So,
I'm surprised some guy hasn't just hauled off and,
Decked him?
so next up, that's enough about panties. We have Microsoft announcing games for Windows Marketplace, which is basically a Microsoft version of Steam.
Yeah.
So people keep using Steam then.
Yeah, unless
Unless you
You-
want to buy a Microsoft product. Yeah.
play Age of Empires on your Zune.
New Vegas is a Steam product, even though, it has it has the little games for Windows logo thing, but it's distributed by Steam.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't...
So-
The two don't actually interfere because I bought...
Dawn of War 2. what I was
Yeah,
thinking
Dawn of
of.
War 2 is... Yeah, actually, that's one of them too as well. But I was going to say Fallout 3 you can buy through Steam, and it's still games for Windows Live.
Well, they've ditched games for Windows Live. They just keep games for Windows. So anything after a certain amount of time is just not. They're just not using games for Windows Live anymore. It's just
Huh.
games for Windows.
Because when I bought Dawn of War 2, you have to connect to be able to play
We
with
had to do
friends
with Fallout 3
online.
as well.
Yeah.
So when's the last time Microsoft Game Studios came out with a PC game? That'd be
I don't
like
know.
Shadowrun?
I don't know.
Well, after they killed the Age of Empires team,
Yeah.
what was that crew?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh,
I
it's the one
forget.
down in Texas. They split them apart. I was pretty much over
Yeah.
Microsoft. I said, okay,
Well,
fine.
You're not gonna play
You kill
Age of
one of my-
Empires online.
Well,
that looks so cartoony. I'm kind of on the fence. I don't know if I want to try it or
well,
not.
I'm sure if someone comes out with Minesweeper,
Online.
yeah. How would that work?
Well, you need live.
Yeah.
I mean, Minesweeper only
Hey,
more
why
expensive.
isn't Minesweeper on Xbox Live Arcade?
Because it doesn't work well with the controller?
Really now?
Well, and it was always weird with games for Windows Live anyway because it wasn't quite Xbox Live. It was like a different. It wasn't exactly the same thing. So you signed into the same profile, but like some stuff didn't make across, and of course there was the infamous. You can't play FPSs against console players because every time they did it, the
Oh
computer
yeah.
players
It doesn't
would
work
slaughter.
against. You know what?
Yeah.
You know what's
Yeah,
weird about
absolutely.
that too is a buddy of mine.
They actually tested it, and that's why they didn't implement it. There's an article in Ars Technica about it. How they're like, well, we were going to do this, and we thought it'd be a great idea until we realized that with the
The console
PC
players would be butthurt.
just
yeah.
the PC players just annihilated the console
They
players
would
every
school
time.
'em. A buddy of mine finally got a 360, but he, like I, had played certain games through live on the PC side. So he played Batman Arkham Asylum on the PC end. I played it on the console. So when we go compare games, I don't see my score but I can see his.
Yeah.
And vice versa. It doesn't actually show
Yeah.
those scores against each other if they're different versions,
it's
which
weird.
is just dumb.
Yeah, they never really did that in a way that I liked.
So next up, Chu Chu Rocket for iPhone and iPad, and you just checked the price on it. It was like $5, wasn't it?
Yeah, for the phone even. That's with the iPad, they're supposed to have special features and it's supposed to work great with multiplayer. And the iPhone does have a 4-player option, but it just seems like a lot of money for an old game.
Chu Chu Rocket's a solid game. It
It-
really
no, it's
is.
solid, don't
it's
get me wrong,
absolutely
it
worth
just-
$5 on any platform you get it. And it's one of those that was on the Dreamcast, but you kind of have to forgive it for being on the Dreamcast. It didn't have much choice in the matter.
Yeah.
So if you can pick it up for something else, you should. Chu Chu
I
Rocket's
will
an
say
awesome
it's
game.
probably a lot more fun to play with a touchscreen interface, though. I got to play the demo. I'm gonna check it out and see because
But what
that
if
would
you
make
get
it
like
even more
other?
fun.
What if you get 3 of your other friends with iPhones and then play it together?
I don't know.
So you can put together the most expensive version of Scrabble ever made.
Pretty much, especially if it's the iPads. I mean, those things ain't cheap in any way, shape, or form.
Or buy an
So-
actual Scrabble set, which is cheaper. But So next up, the PSPgo drops to $199, which would interest no
Absolutely
one.
no one
Nope,
still.
none whatsoever.
Didn't Sony say something about wanting to go totally UMD-less still,
Yeah, that's the
even
P-
despite this?
Yep.
Well, they've
It just-
released a bunch of PSP2 news, and we do know the PSP2 will not have a UMD drive. So that's going to have to be digital distribution.
Oh, because that worked out so well.
Yeah, it worked out great with the PSPgo, apparently.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nobody out there will ever be like Sony. I mean, Sony is just diehard stupid about proprietary shit that never
Well,
works.
they are
And then-
so stubborn about everything they do.
Well, what's also
Well, they
though,
have
a
to
given
milk it
that
for the
next-
most
Now, wait
the
a minute.
next generation
Betamax
of
might
consoles-
make a comeback, okay?
The next generation consoles is probably going to be media free.
I don't
I mean,
mind the
the
concept. It's
publishers
just the way
desperately
Sony
want it.
does it. They always screw everybody over because they have to get the most amount of money out of their own product without getting anybody else involved. It's like they have to do it solely. They do that with every kind of format they put out.
It just seems like, I always go back to the whole Penny Arcade comic that had the bit where they're talking about where Gabe buys like the PlayStation 5, and it's a big box of spoons.
yeah,
And,
yeah.
and it's from 2002, and there's a comment in the book that they reprinted that in where Tycho says it's been apparent that from the beginning that Sony's just been making this up as they go, and there's never been any indication to me that that's not true.
Yeah.
They don't have a strategy. They like, well, this will be cool.
Look
and
how
then
long it took them to get
someone who
online
hasn't
with the
been
PS3.
fired comes up with a new idea, and it's like,
And then you come up with a console that looks like the George Foreman grill.
yeah, and then they fire all those people, and then some other dumbass who was subordinate of the other dumbasses comes up with another idea. It's like,
Sony is like the
really?
game equivalent of Fox News.
That's an excellent comparison. I've always thought that there was one old man running Sony somewhere, like in a shack in Norway.
Yeah.
Who's just like, yeah, let's try this now. Yeah, let's see how this goes.
He's eccentric, but he has a lot of money.
Exactly.
I think a processor that's based off gefilte fish technology would work real well. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's
It
good to
was-
be liquid cooled, yeah?
It was an amazing coup when they released a worse product later for more money.
yeah, yeah.
It blows your mind. I mean, they do this year. It's like product after product. Look at the mini disc. Remember when that came out? It was like 93, 94. Tiny little disc.
Yeah.
$600 to buy the mini disc player.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are
Well,
you?
and,
They always think that America is the richest country in the world, and they're going to buy all their products to start with, and it's going to, take off because America does it. Well, what they don't realize is the only America that buys that is like the top 1 or 2% that can afford it, and then they don't
Well,
even use it that long.
even
So
with
then they
the-
got to drop the price like 50 to 70%, and then somebody finally catches on to it.
But when they released the mini disc, I mean, at least there was still the perception that Sony equaled quality. Back then you could almost get away with doing that sort of thing as Sony. I don't think you can do that.
Yeah, they
anymore.
were a brand, or they were the brand name in technology back
Yeah.
then. But
Now
yeah,
I don't think
I
you
think
can do that
after a
anymore.
certain number of these, and then people actually making better projects like LG got better.
Well, it didn't
Philips
help
got
that they
better.
were putting out, 5 million different configurations of the PlayStation 3 while marketing the hell out of it, while it being more expensive on average than the rest of its competitors. It's like,
I remember
who's in charge
yeah.
over there?
I remember Kotaku posting the latest like weekly patent list from Sony. He's like, "Oh, hey, look, 3 more."
Or
They're
the
all
SKU, the SKU
PS3s.
registrations
Yeah.
for it. Yeah.
Yeah, how many SKUs do they have now? Like 30 billion?
It's a ridiculous. Go look at the PlayStation 3 Wikipedia article. They have them all listed, and it's
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 insane.
a little ridiculous.
Because then you got to take each country and multiply it times 3 for the European and the Japanese release too. and
just
then your
not-
special editions for whatever game was popular in each country.
I don't know what they're thinking. Anyway,
All right, so moving on, Tribes Universe announced. So this is a new version of Tribes. With it's a
not by the original developers.
I
look
don't
like
know
it.
who the original developer is.
Well,
it
it
was,
procured the license. It was.
God, I still have the Tribes 2 at home.
It was those
It's a
guys.
little symbol.
But it's not these guys.
Those guys. So does anyone have interest in Tribes?
Depends on how they do it.
Dude, Tribes 2 was the shit back in the day.
Yeah, but
it
it
was
depends
one
how
of the
they do it. It was
well,
great
yeah.
when it was good, and it was horrible when it was horrible.
Yeah. But you could go in, you could get a clan or a couple of clans together, up to like 32 people, I think, and you could just fly into an opposing enemy's area with 32 guys in a ship, and the maps were like a mile long. I mean, it was just huge FPS.
Well, so then it makes sense they're turning this into Huxley with jetpacks.
All right, for those of you,
Hey, at least it's
for
coming
those
out,
of you
right?
listening at home, John has mentioned Hexley, so please take a shot. that's the running
Are you
gag
sure
right there.
Huxley didn't have jetpacks?
Oh, there's another shot. Oh shit!
Oh, you're gonna be so drunk in a couple minutes.
So, by the way, how's Jumpgate Evolution coming along?
I saw a screenshot for it 2 weeks ago.
Oh, hey!
Yeah.
Was
That-
it a new screenshot?
It was a new screenshot.
Was that warped in?
Yeah, jeez, that fucking game.
And by the way, for Bakudan, who's a regular listener of our podcast, not the recurring gags are Huxley,
No, you don't
Jumpgate.
explain it
well,
to
no,
him.
it's Huxley,
That's
Jumpgate
the-
Evolution,
That's the
joke.
and Boonga Boonga.
That's the joke.
You've just ruined the whole podcast
Oh.
for all time.
Good job.
So, you're not interested in a spanking game?
How about no?
Not with you.
Yeah.
That's not a game. It's serious business.
I'm leaving.
He's gonna
So-
go home and spank somebody,
Hey,
or you know.
Moving right
Else.
the hell along.
Thank you very much.
so next up, No More Heroes, Heroes Paradise,
Oh,
coming to
skip
you.
one.
Oh, did I? Oh, Champions Online.
Oh no, out of order.
Champions
This
Online.
time that you actually
no, but
did
nobody
skip
cares
one,
about
unlike the last
Champions
time.
Online. Skip that shit.
All
Actually,
right.
that was a good skip. We're going to keep going.
All right. So No More Heroes, Heroes Paradise, PS3 coming to US from Konami, which I know will interest John as long as they don't screw it up and give us the unedited version.
Do you have a
Yeah.
move?
they have
No,
a-
but
I mean, edited version.
the Japanese version supported the normal controller just fine since it came out like a year ago.
I was at Best Buy a couple weeks ago, and man, I fucking couldn't get that move to calibrate the worth a damn.
Well, as
I
I,
don't
understand
know.
from the Wii players, it sounded like once they just did a control-based game for No More Heroes, the game was better. So I'm really
Oh,
hoping
there-
that you
there
can
you
play
go.
it that way.
So does this interest you, though?
Bob's your uncle.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll pick it up out of a bargain bin sometime in 2 years.
Yeah.
I was thinking that exact thing myself.
Really?
Same
You did
thing I
not
did with
pick
the,
up No More Heroes?
I have both of them, but I did not pick them up when they came out. It's
Yeah.
it's rare that I buy something when it comes out.
Learn from their example, Murdock.
Yeah.
Learn from
I
their
mean,
example.
I'm just now buying PS2 and original Xbox games. So
Really?
yeah, now that they're dirt cheap and no one wants them except me.
And
Yeah, most
how are
games
you
you can
enjoying
sit on.
Sly Cooper?
Sly Cooper, it's an excellent title. I don't know what Sly Cooper. No, I'm kidding.
This has been a good holiday season because buying all the last holiday stuff, they've been clearancing it all out for the last couple weeks.
Mhm.
Yeah. There's
So-
been a lot of good deals on Steam and online too. Direct to drive.
Man, I don't know why they don't have like an email notification thing for Steam for deals.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
I
Although
mean,
doesn't,
seriously, the number of times that I remember to go to Steam to check and see if there's something cool on sale is really, really low.
I'm lucky. I got a couple of friends that are almost looking at least weekly. They're checking to see what's coming out, and they'll tell you about a week ahead of time what's that they're going to have a sale, but they don't always tell you what's on. Like last week was all THQ games, so each day was a different thing. But they had RE5 on too for $15, so I picked that up because you can use the Xbox controller on the PC version.
I am also lucky because those people talk to Brian and then Brian talks to me. So
Yeah.
fifth hand.
I've actually, if I see something I think enough people or anybody is going to be interested in, I'll generally try and post it on Facebook or Twitter or something. So trying to spread the news that way. but
You know what some people are really butthurt about, speaking of Xbox 360 controller? That you can't use the 360 controller for Fallout on the PC.
oh yeah,
Weird.
I don't know
They
why
didn't do
people
that
were
for
butthurt about
most
that.
games. It wasn't until recently.
Well,
they
they are
started
spending a
making
lot
it
of time
usable.
getting the game to work.
Yeah. I don't.
It was
People
kind of a
just were
weird
really
thing.
butthurt about it. There's a lot of people who are a lot of butthurt about New Vegas.
There's been a lot of butthurt lately, just everywhere.
I think
I
there was
think
a.
it's that people come from that expectation of playing Fallout 3 working. Now
Right.
that it's, you know,
Yeah, I was gonna
3
say they've
years
got high
on.
expectations after 3.
Yeah, after 3 years
And
of the
then-
game being out. I mean,
but nobody remembers when Fallout 3 first came out and how many
Well,
issues it
it
had.
did,
Oh,
yeah.
I remember.
well, it's
Yeah.
because it's one of the it's a typical Bethesda game where it's buggy for the first year, and then people make mods for it for a decade, and you can still play it because some guy redid all the textures for it. Now, of course, you gotta have the PC version of it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but there's like I was telling 400 other times, the mods for Fallout 3 are ridiculous. Build
Yeah.
your own town if you want to. Here's a mod for it.
Yeah.
You want to blow it up? Here's a vertibird mod that lets you nuke the town.
I love the radio station mod.
Yeah, that's
that
really
was really cool.
Yeah.
So next up, King of Fighters.
Oh, no.
Another one, 13, coming out.
Okay, so wait. Is
On
it King of Fighters
consoles?
2002 or King of Fighters 13?
Well,
How did
13 is
those fit in this?
2010.
So is King of Fighters different than KOF? Is that actually a different naming convention? Or
No, King of
No,
Fighters
they're
and
just-
KOF are the same
How come
thing.
they changed from the year based to the number based?
Because
So they
they
could
couldn't come
sell-
out with one every year.
Yeah, I was going to say they could sell 2 games a year now. This is King of Fighters 13.
Ah.
Oh, but this is King of Fighters 2002.
Yeah, after Playmore bought SNK, they just started hosing that shit out on every platform possible.
Hey, at least they're using normal names that can be pronounced. They're not like Square Enix.
Hey, they're fully exploiting their available franchises.
That's
Yeah.
true. They are milking the
And
SNK
if you don't
fan
believe that, you
base
just
for all
have to
they
see
can.
the pachinko machines over there and the Pachizlo that
What's
have
the-
all the KOF and
Anytime I hear the
Samurai
word
Showdown titles
Pachizlo, I think of an old guy in front of a machine, and just cheese is coming out of the machine.
It's not like Pachizlo. It sounds like an old guy who doesn't shower enough.
Yeah, that's actually what I was thinking. He's an old Italian guy shuffling down the street.
Ah, Pachizlo!
Oh, Christ, here comes Pachizlo.
In an overcoat that's too large.
Yeah, way too large.
Yeah.
secretly running the numbers game
And a
in the
hat.
back of an
No.
alley.
This just in at Diehard Gamer Radio. Pachizlo, it's the name of the new Masamune Shiro manga.
Yeah.
Yep.
His brain is still underneath the, like the subway station, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's under Tokyo.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. It's in sub Tokyo.
So,
Footnote: Sub Tokyo is a. Oh.
Is an entirely fictional place.
Yeah.
Steve just made it.
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Fictional.
That's what we'll go with.
Is actually a real place.
It's where they keep Shiro's brain.
It's an underground network where all the hikikomoris go from software store to software store. It's like underground tunnels.
Well, that's how he uses it to transfer messages around.
Yes.
He actually utilizes hikikomori brains in a distributed network sort of way for extra processing power.
So it's something along the lines of a Rotsuki Doji.
Yeah, no, it's the Matrix, except the center is Shiro's brain.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
and the production is Technobabble?
Yeah. Well, footnoted, anyway.
As much as I like King of Fighters, I don't think I'll be buying 13 because 12 is just they've simplified a little more because 12 is really complex.
Well,
I thought that was the point of King of Fighters. I thought it had to be insanely hard.
No, it's the way they, the games themselves up until a couple of them ago, maybe even this one, come to think of it, were not that complex. I mean, you could do breaks and things, but they pretty much followed along the lines of most fighting games with what you could do and what you couldn't do. But this one got really technical where you can expand on things, but you've got to master characters to really be able to play it. And play
Well, it's
it
not as
well.
bad as like
Rank it
too
against Virtua Fighter.
specialized.
no,
Yeah,
nothing's
I'd
as
say
complex.
it's
as
probably a level below Virtua Fighter,
Oh,
barely.
yeah.
But
Virtua Fighter
Virtua
was
Fighter
that
was
complex.
ridiculous too.
Like the first one or like later ones?
dude,
The
Virtua
later
Fighter's
ones.
got a
Oh.
The first
huge
one was
learning
easy.
curve.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, when you're saying
I don't know
virtual
why.
fighter, I mean, that could mean a lot
No,
of
I'm
different
thinking
things.
like 3 or 4. Those
Yeah.
guys.
I never had a single problem with Virtua Fighter 3.
Well, you played the Drunken Master all the time, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
I played Kage.
Because the
It's
Drunken
the
Master was
fighting
great.
style that you got to get used to.
Keep fucking mashing
The
until you
control
counter
moves
everything.
are just such a different thing from a regular fighting game, though. I think that's one of the things that turned me off about Virtua Fighters. I just didn't like the control motion. They weren't motions; they were taps, with directions, and it was just super technical.
Can we just agree that Killer Instinct was the worst fighting game ever made?
No, Primal Rage was worse, dude.
Yeah,
Oh.
Primal Rage
Yeah,
was way
yeah.
worse. And then there's War Gods.
And War Gods.
And Shaq Fu.
And
Rise
Shaq
of the
Fu,
Robots.
Rise of the
Pit
Robots.
Fighter.
Yeah,
Rise
that's
of
right.
the-
We don't have John here to make the Rise of the Robots reference, so thank you for
Pit
helping us keep
Fighter.
that.
Pit Fighter.
Well,
Pit Fighter would be bad.
they blocked by their
Funny.
underarms. That's why it's called Pit Fighter.
So what? Guile blocked with his armpit too.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
There was no hair there because it got hit by fireballs all the time.
exactly. It was the break my ribs block.
Yeah.
Well, that's how. Now, you're a black belt. That's how you block things, right?
Yeah, with your ribs. Yeah,
They're
allow
not
me
important.
to
It's not
demonstrate
your brain.
that.
They're important.
So as you advance up the belts, do you eventually get to blocking with your face, or
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually the first technique you learn.
Yeah.
The face block.
Boot to the head.
Well, at least I didn't break anything vital. So, next up, PlayStation new loyalty program Get, which is PlayStation Rewards, which is awesome if you want to play PlayStation a lot.
And you own a Sony card?
Actually, I don't know if that's actually mixed in with this.
I wouldn't be surprised if they brought that in
But
there.
basically, gamers will be rewarded for not only their purchases, but also the amount of time they spend interacting with their PlayStation. I wonder if waiting for firmware updates counts for that.
I was about to make that joke myself.
You know, this is getting to the point where that article that came out a couple weeks ago where they were saying, buying bread, you get 10 points. Going to your car, you get 15 points. You know, it's like it's really becoming a reality.
so
Mhm.
like everything else Sony is doing now? Does this require PlayStation Plus too?
I believe so. So the program has 3 reward tiers: Select, Pro, and Legendary. So
Legendary, you have lots of money
Select
and lots
Pro
of time.
and Hikikomori.
So members advance through each tier based on their level in engagement and actions, including playing new games for the first time, buying content from the PlayStation Network in PlayStation Store or PlayStation Home, downloading movies or TV shows, or engaging in communication with PlayStation, like taking surveys.
Do they have a binge bonus?
PlayStation.
I don't know.
You know, I got on them when they were doing the beta test for online, and I created my character, and I spent like an hour creating that character, and I could have easily spent another 3 because it was ridiculous how many options they give you to create an avatar. Because they don't want you to create something cartoony. It's got to be a real person avatar, and then you got to walk all around in a real. It's like The Sims. You know, except it's like an adult Sims. It's not even Sims anymore. It's to the point where you don't even
No,
want to bother with it.
There
It's so
was an
boring.
adult Sims.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you say adult Sims, I
No,
think
no,
something
no. This
really
puts
horrible.
that to shame.
Or that thing on Cartoon
no, 'cause
Network
you're not
after
literally
Back to
trying to
designing
get-
panties for your adult Sims.
Yeah,
you
you
know.
weren't literally trying to get your Sims to fuck, which is the adult Sims. So
No,
How
I
hard-
just
that
bumped
was
how
the
hard could that
normal
be?
Sims,
Yeah, I was going
too.
to say.
apparently it's remarkably difficult.
You
to
know,
get.
I do like watching
it was more like,
Metalocalypse on Adult Sims.
Yeah.
That
It was
weak.
more like
called-
Shenmue because you were walking around with your person, going into
Right.
buildings. You'd find an
Yeah.
arcade at the local, you know,
Drive your forklift.
Yeah.
You can spend hours and
bowling
hours
alley, and
not
you'd actually
really
walk
playing
up
the
to
game.
an arcade and play a real old arcade game through your virtual world. I'm like, you know, seriously?
Yeah, you spend hours
Do I
and
have
hours
time
not
to
playing
do
your
this
game.
shit?
So
Yeah, it's exactly. You're wasting time online doing nothing.
Well, it's the same as
I
the
mean, it's
rest
not
of the
e-
internet. I mean, what the
yeah,
hell?
yeah,
What,
but
I-
at least the rest of the internet is porn. So
High
it's not
quality
even like
porn.
Facebook.
Yeah.
On Facebook, you have achievements and things,
quality
and
porn.
you
Yeah,
actually
there are
get to.
Facebook achievements.
Well, I
You're
mean,
weirding me out here,
depending
man.
on whatever game you're playing. But yeah, they do have certain achievements set up through Facebook, and the iPhone's doing it now too, where they set up an achievement base kind of system, where
What?
it's like when you go into a game, it recognizes you and says, "Hey, welcome back." You know, I'm like, seriously. But PS3 doesn't even have that, you know, and they're trying to get you to go online to do what? To
well, this is why they have this program, so that to give you a reason to go online.
well, that's what I'm
So
saying.
so the time it takes me to actually get online, do I get points for that? I mean, seriously.
it's
we
like
did that
waiting
joke.
room bonus.
Well,
We did that joke. Like,
or if I play bowling in PlayStation Home.
welcome to about 5 minutes earlier in the
Hey,
podcast.
you know that hole that you put pie in? I need you to shut your pie hole.
9-9, Fraulein.
I do think you guys have finally explained PlayStation Home to me, though. It's because they couldn't figure out any other way to jam another set of progress screens and loading bars onto the PlayStation interface.
Gotcha.
I like Neo Geo with the dancing monkey.
Yeah.
Why can't we go back?
Well, that monkey is copyright
the juggling monkey.
SNK Playmore.
Yeah.
What happened to the little dog that would do it in on the Macintosh? There's like the little waiting thing. There's like the.
Are we back to internet porn here? What are we doing?
It's not pre-internet. Well, actually, there was internet porn back then. It was ASCII porn.
Yeah, I was just
Jesus wept.
Tell us more about ASCII
and,
porn,
and 4-color
Bakudan.
CGA
How about
porn.
no?
4-color CGA porn.
Yeah, I remember that too.
Yeah.
Sad to say. All right, so video games.
Yes.
Yeah, why don't you move
They're
on
awesome.
here,
What the hell are you talking
moderator?
about?
All right.
Do some moderating, moderator.
So our next favorite game that's going to be coming out is Days of Thunder for the arcade edition and the NASCAR edition for PlayStation Network and XBLA. So did you like Days of Thunder? Do you like your Tom Cruise movies?
For a second, I thought you were talking about Hydro Thunder, and I almost
Yeah.
cared.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a different game.
Wasn't that making a comeback too, though? Wasn't there a sequel for that as well?
They're coming out with a sequel to the movie.
No,
Days of
Hydro-
Thunder
No, no, no.
Two.
Hydro Thunder. Who
Oh.
cares about Days of Thunder?
I don't know if they're coming out. I don't know if they're coming out with a Hydro Thunder movie or property.
Starring Tom Cruise.
Well, that's only if they raid the Stephen J. Canal archives and start going through all his old stuff, and they could get close and maybe do a movie version of Riptide. But
Just
I,
some
I might
CG
actually
CG
play it if
inserts.
they had the music done by Hans Zimmer. It might actually put me over.
Really now, Hans Zimmer, huh?
Oh, dude, he wrote all the best.
Not
music.
Danny Elfman. Has to be Hans Zimmer.
Danny
huh?
was cool,
Danny
but Hans
Elfman
Zimmer
wrote
just...
that one good song once and then used it for 30 years.
That's efficiency.
Yeah, yeah.
The man had a plan and he followed through.
So, should we talk about this next one? The Galgun game getting a panic button.
Oh, because this is going to go real well. Your mom walks into the room because she's hearing all this moaning from your television and sees an 8-bit RPG on the screen.
Yep.
Totally leave all fears.
Just
Some
like
people are
Dragon
really
Warrior.
into
I
their
don't
classic
keep up
RPGs.
with these kind of games. You're gonna have to explain Galgun
Yeah,
to me.
what's this all
Oh, for
about?
fuck's sake. Okay. So, Galgun is a Xbox 360 game from Japan. And the premise of the game is that you...
It's a 360, not a Wii? Because I thought it was
No, it's 360.
So it's a rail shooter on the 360
Yes.
in Japan.
Yes.
Yeah, they're pushing
But
the limits.
they're never going to export to the U.S.
It's highly unlikely that they will export this game.
Wow, this is like the worst set of decisions ever.
No, that's
But-
Sony's job.
Oh.
So basically, the game is that you make a wish to some hentai god or
Hentai
something
God.
in Japan,
Okay.
and you
So
for
a
one
wish or a
day,
sacrifice?
every single female in this school is insanely attracted to you, and you have to fight them off with, and I'm not making this up, a pheromone gun.
Huh.
And it's a rail shooter, and you see little targeting reticles, and you get to shoot the women in certain places to
Get
fend
the
them
part
off,
where
and
you
they
pee.
and then they make moaning, groaning, please don't touch me there, older brother type sounds. And if for some reason your mom is wondering why you're not in cram school, or,
Or why you aren't wearing pants.
yeah,
Or why you sound like a girl suddenly.
you can hit a button. It's assigned to one button. You press the button and it turns into an 8-bit RPG with actual 8-bit music
In a
So that you're-
classroom, no less.
in a classroom,
at
no
a
less. So
Japanese
you can,
classroom.
so you can say, well, yeah, I've been playing Dragon Warrior in my pants,
Huh.
and then you can go back to shooting girls and
For
stuff
a
like
moaning
that.
down.
I think their game
Women.
was so lame they couldn't figure anything good to do with that button.
Right. It's
So-
it's like what you call it. It's like the back room way to promote Medal of Honor, where like the game is so generic FPS that they had to create the controversy in order to get people to pay attention to it.
There
Well,
you go.
any PR is good PR.
So I own a Japanese Xbox 360.
Get to the part where you pee.
And I'm thinking that I'll probably just wait and see when they get their perfect Famitsu score before I buy it.
You're lying. You got this on pre-order.
No, I don't, because PlayAsia doesn't have it listed yet. But the point is, I don't have a point.
Move on, moderator,
I was
move
gonna say I've
on.
regretted a lot of things in my life, but
Does that take?
That pretty much
now,
takes the cake. there.
now, before we get, can I bring that game and run it as a tournament at NDK?
At NDK, no.
Okay.
At his house?
Yes, absolutely.
At-
Feel
at-
free to bring it over.
At your house.
Anytime.
Will you be wearing pants?
Yes.
Will you be home?
No.
Ah.
I'm gonna have to play it with his cat now. I was playing a game with Dan's pussy.
So yeah, next news item.
Our last news item: GameStop launches a digital download store. I think that means you're doing it wrong. I don't know.
They want to get some more. It's once again, it's more of GameStop attempting to augment their
Reality?
augment their revenue stream.
Relevance?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, that's why they're doing the. That's why they're into the whole spend another $5 for
New versus
download
used.
rights for downloadable content and crap like that because they need to make money somehow.
That's the publishers trying to kill GameStop, is that one?
Yeah, but they don't mind it.
So basically, you go to GameStop's website and you can actually do the digital download through their site.
You were able to do. Weren't you able to buy DLCs through GameStop already for 360?
I
then you
didn't
would
think
go
they had a
home.
dedicated site
Yeah.
for that.
No,
Well,
no,
that
was
was
That
the
was the
DLC.
GameStop store of the future, where they were
Well, no,
demoing
I'm
that
pretty
plan
sure
of
I saw it
going
at a
to the store.
GameStop doing it, and where you could buy it, and then when you went home, it was downloading.
That's what they were talking about. I don't know if that
I
actually.
swear to
happened.
God, I saw it in at least one GameStop.
Yeah, but
It's true. I haven't been in a GameStop in like 3 years, so it's entirely possible that that's happened now.
It never made sense to me, but I swear to God, that's
I remember
what it
them
is. and it made
talking about
sense.
it, but I never saw it physically come out.
Yeah,
I think they were just giving out codes or cards like they did when you bought special editions of games. You get the card for additional
I swear I
DLC.
saw like a little kiosk thing.
Well, the only little kiosk I saw this summer was when they were selling the cards for the Xbox Live games. What were you talking about earlier?
The Summer of Arcade.
Yeah, the Summer of
Limbo?
Arcade. Think Limbo. That was what I was thinking of. Limbo and the Lara Croft game and a couple of others that came out. That's the only thing
Did you
I
pick
saw.
any? By the way, before we get to our next topic, did you pick up anything during that Summer of Arcade thing?
Yes, I got the Lara Croft game, which is fucking awesome.
Really?
Which one is it?
Absolutely. What is it? The Guardian of Light. It's
okay.
Diablo meets Lara Croft. It's an absolute blast.
Totally agree with him.
Yeah.
I haven't played a single player, but the co-op's been perfect.
I haven't played co-op. All I've played is single player. So
Maybe
didn't
you
try
two
it out.
should.
we should get together
review.
for
A
co-op. We got to do
composite
this.
review.
Yeah. No, I
I
think
didn't
it's,
get it because I thought the prior one was such a piece of shit. I
Oh no,
was
it's
so
totally
turned
different
off.
game. It's not even the same type of gameplay. You should snag the demo. I mean,
Okay.
that's what I love about Xbox Live. Is this game going to be good? Oh my god, what a turd! Or is this game going to be
Unlike
good?
Sony.
Unlike Sony, I know.
Where
Are you
go
sure you
and
want to
agent
buy
through
this
all their
game?
games.
Put
It's
this
like,
game
would
in
you
this
like to try
bucket.
this?
Exactly.
No,
Oh,
you're not
yeah.
going to get to try this. There's no video either for what it's going to be like, and the description's half a paragraph that doesn't really tell you anything about it.
Yeah.
Don't you want to give them $10 now?
But if you're a believer,
No, don't you
then
want to
will
give us
them money.
1001
All
or
right.
998?
If you are a real fan,
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
I'll never forget seeing Sony's revival at E3 several years ago before the PlayStation 3 came out. It's, I'm standing there playing an actual Xbox 360. This is before any of these consoles hit the market. And over there at the Sony booth, more of a Sony city block, really, was a tremendous revival with speaking in tongues and people wailing and gnashing their teeth and someone out on the stage saying, "Do you believe? Do you believe?" And the people shouting, "Yes, yes, I believe." In the meantime, I'm
We
playing some
believe in the
crap-ass motorcycle game on an actual console.
And later on, they went on to be Obama writers.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy talk, is what
Yes,
it
we
is.
can.
The opinions of Brian did not necessarily affect the views of the midterm election results that will be posted on Diehard Gamers Radio's website
Don't forget
tomorrow.
to get your ballots in.
That's right.
This is the time to make predictions,
Oh,
No,
for really?
yeah,
Yeah, that's a really bad idea.
I predict Forza 17. They're going to skip,
Yeah, well, we predict Jumpgate Evolution and Huxley to come out before Gran Turismo 5.
Take a drink.
because you mentioned them.
Yes.
So you want to move on now?
Yes. So
No, we're done talking about Sony.
yeah. So next up, we have our special guest Bakudan here, and he's going to talk about.
Where the hell did he come from?
He's a ninja. He's been here for all 99 episodes and now just appeared.
Yeah, actually, the truth of the matter is that my My agent told me that I was required to show up every 100 episodes. So I've actually been waiting on you.
Oh, every
get to this
100
point.
episodes.
So I
What law
can
did you
show up.
break to force you to have
We,
to
we, we, we had to pray. We had to pray
Yeah,
on.
and by agent, he means his probation officer.
We had to pray to the 108 stars of destiny before he showed up.
No, you
No,
just
he
came
had
looking
to tell
for.
me where the hell it was. That's
Just
all.
came looking for a Dragon Ball.
Oh, hey.
This does suggest a great way to improve the listenership, though. We just need to get it labeled as community service to have to listen to this damn thing.
Hey, there we
Hey,
go.
That works. That
Yeah,
works.
we can have Vinny from Cell Block, Cell Block F, listening to this program. Hey, I think Murdock's a good guy. I think I'll send someone else to whack him tonight. Stuff like that. That's really a bad.
I don't think that
He's a
means
good
what
guy.
you
Why
think
would
that
you whack him?
means.
Yeah, exactly.
So weird.
There'd be factions like in prison that are
Sure.
like fans of different people that are on the podcast.
Yeah, let's go
They
with
would
that.
shiv each other.
Yes, it'll be
over
Prison
saying the
Tycoon
wrong
all
thing.
over
you guys
again.
are missing the hand gesture that's going with shiv each other.
Shivving it's down.
Where the hand gesture is at
Yeah.
and the motion
Yeah.
that's taking place is
It's like a more
is-
loving version of Gamer.
We have to shiv them under the table.
Oh, is that what you're doing under the table? Shivving.
Oh. Is that what the kids are calling it now?
Yeah.
Only the Jewish kids.
Oh, hey. If you're shivving it with that, then you're doing it wrong. So, Bakudan is here to talk about his war diary that's coming out here real soon. No, he's
Do
actually
we have
going
any
on the-
clips to play?
Yes.
He's on the book tour.
This is a clip of Bakudan on Iwo Jima, and yeah,
Yes. In the Devil's Armpit in Cambodia.
hopped up on some jungle mushroom.
Jackknifed in the Yellow River.
That's pretty horrid.
Yeah.
So, no, he actually has some epic tournament stories to share with us. So, so what are we going to start? Is it like when the winners finally win the tournament and get to sit on your lap and get a wish, or how does that work?
That's pretty awful too. Yeah. No, I would never hold close to me any winner of any video game tournament. That would
Even female?
I might think about it.
There aren't any female games.
We have had one female tournament winner in 15 years of NDK. Actually, in 13 years of the video game room.
So how did she do in DDR?
She actually won Quake. She actually won Quake 3.
Are you serious?
She won the
No
Quake 3
way.
tournament. It was on the Dreamcast, but what the hell?
Yeah.
It was still Quake 3.
Hey, that's still
Yeah,
bad props for
They
an
made
FPS.
Her
Quake-
boyfriend was
Quake
very
3 for the
proud of her
Dreamcast.
too. So yeah, it's a bummer.
Was he in the tournament?
He was in the tournament, and she
Well, that's
defeated
gracious
him.
then.
Yeah, so she
Smoked
blew him
him?
to smithereens. So yeah, tournaments. We've had some pretty entertaining tournaments over the years. Some of them, I don't know what Murdock was expecting when we first started doing video game tournaments, but I was not expecting actually the really good sportsmanship that we ended up getting, which was always very cool to see.
Yeah,
People-
I was kind of expecting, people actually teabagging each other in real life. It's
Yeah,
pretty
exactly.
much, flinging poo.
Usually when you shoot a guy through the head, you don't go over and shake his hand afterwards, and say, wow, that was a really great game.
It is harder to rage quit in person.
Not necessarily. I've seen it happen. In fact, I'll tell that story later. But I remember the GoldenEye tournament, 13 years ago. That tells you how long ago it was. It was GoldenEye 007 on the 64, where the guys were like magical. I thought I was pretty damn good at GoldenEye. I thought I was, on top of it. And one guy's running through the tunnels there of the space shuttle stage, and the other one's tracking him with the 357. And all of a sudden, it's a Zen Archer moment. He just swings the gun, walk past where he goes through the wall, pulls the trigger, boom, headshot through the wall. Couldn't even see the guy. And that was when they both paused the game, stopped, and he shook his hand. He's like, "Dude, you're fucking awesome."
That's awesome.
And they come back and start playing the game again.
Was that the best tournament you've seen?
That was one of the best tournaments I've seen. One of the other cool ones was, I think the next year, we had a guy come up, and we always had people coming up talking trash all the freaking time. We had a guy come up once, though, and say, "Yeah, I'm actually the North American King of Fighters champion." And we're like, yeah, sure you are. That's nice. Go sign up, fanboy. And so he sits down, and he starts playing, and he dominates. And not only does he dominate, he's nice about it. He says, "Hey, okay, I'm gonna do this, and when I do this, you counter with that and hit me like that. Okay, good, yeah, great, you did really good. Bam, 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 dead." And it was like fighting a genuine grandmaster. And finally, the thing comes up, and he's really graciously polite to the person that he defeats. And I hand him the trophy, and I'm like, "You really are the North American King of Fighters champion." He's like, "I told you I was." Yeah, but everybody says that.
It's just
is
impressive
this
that actual champions are showing up to the game room because it's not like promoted in any national way. Or...
I know, and the guy just happened to show up. He's like, "Oh, cool, an anime con," and he walks in. "Oh, video games. I know how to play video games. Yeah. Oh my god," and just destroys us all. And I've had people that were really, really good, and I set them aside to be like towards the end of a tournament. And he comes to me and he says, "Why am I not being included in the regular rings?" And I was like, "Because you could beat all of these people with your hands tied behind your back." And he says, "Well, okay, I'll go ahead and throw it. I'll let somebody else win." And I'm like, "Wow, what a nice guy. What a great guy." But on the other hand, we did get a lot of trash talking over the years. And finally, that resulted in us putting together what we called the 7 Tasks of Gamecles.
I remember that.
Yeah. The idea was that every year somebody's like, "Oh man, I'm the best at this game. Oh man, I'm the best at that game." And there were more than 7 of us at the time, but we put together 7 tasks for games that were out at the time. Each of those tasks, something that one of us in the video game room could do, something that we could pull off. Like my particular task was GoldenEye. You had to go through the first stage of GoldenEye, achieve all the objectives, never once get shot on maximum difficulty. Murdock had something obscene like
Gigawing, yes.
Gigawing, and you had to get a score of 600 billion or something like that. And insanely difficult. Kurt had Tenchu, the first Tenchu. You had to go through a particular stage and get Grandmaster, which meant you had to never get spotted. Yeah. And people would go and they would look at the list of tasks and they go, "That's impossible." And we would sit down and do it. And they go, "Holy shit."
Yeah.
And Murdock got called to perform his personal task at least a couple of times, didn't you? To
yes,
sit down
I
and
did.
Get 600 billion on Gigawing.
Yeah.
And the problem with this particular plan is we said, well, okay, once a person does one task, then they can progress to the next. Well, there's no one human being that can do all of these insanely retardedly difficult tasks. So we ended up getting like 8 people that had achieved one and could not do any of the others. And we ended up throwing those people in. And I think we ended up, at the end, we did a Soul Calibur tournament with them because I could not find my Atari or my copy of Pong to make them play that. That
Don't you need the 4-player one with the castles? What was that one called?
Combat?
Combat? Yeah.
Is that it?
Oh,
The little
Combat.
tanks.
Actually, I got an Atari recently, and I've been thinking about forcing Alex to do
the castles in each of the corners, and you got the little paddles, and you're trying to defend your castle from the other guys.
Oh, man.
It's like the 4-player Pong, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's called Fong.
Is that the Chinese import?
Yes.
So
it sounds familiar. I can't think of the name, but
yeah, I do remember running Gamecles, and it turned into a human zoo.
It really did. It was bad.
That was almost as bad as when I did Iron Gamer.
sure it was a zoo and not like a carnival sideshow.
It kind of was. It was very much a freak show. Yeah, absolutely. I always liked Iron Gamer. I thought it was a great concept, especially because, once again, everybody thinks they're a badass at all these various games.
And just to continue off that, just for people who may not be familiar with it, Iron Gamer was basically the whole idea of Iron Gamer was that we would announce that we were running Iron Gamer. And the key of the whole tournament was we weren't going to tell you what the game was until the tournament started. So it could have been anything for any system. And we had really good turnouts for Iron Gamer because they're like, we have no idea what the fuck this game is. It could be anything, So the first year I did it to WarioWare, and we had like 120 people show up.
Yeah.
Damn. It was nuts for WarioWare.
I think that was also because you were giving away a Game
I was
Boy.
giving away systems at that time.
Yeah.
And then next year I had a limited edition like platinum colored GameCube that was like, ultra rare that I was giving away. And the game, and this is also the reason why I haven't run Iron Gamer since, was I did Robotron 2084. And then I had to spend 15 minutes per player to explain how the game worked.
Why did
It's
you
like
bother? I mean,
these
it's-
are sprites.
Well,
Isn't
kinda-
that a
that's
whole
the thing
Are
point
with
those
of
those-
an Iron
triangles
Gamer? You
good?
just throw them in there
Yeah,
and see what
I
happens.
don't know why you even bothered. I mean, it's not like they explain cooking on Iron Chef.
That's true.
This is an onion. You know, if they don't know what an onion is, they're fucked. It's basically what it
Take
boils
like
down to.
5 minutes and get the room closed, and it's like, here's your tutorial. Figure it out. You know.
You don't give them the damn tutorial. It's sink or
Well, no,
swim.
you say, okay, here's your controller movements. This is what you do. You fire, you run, you try not to get hit.
Fuck,
It's
if
that
they're
simple.
Iron, if they think they're Iron Gamer, they should be able to figure out within like the first 10 seconds what the game controllers are. And if they haven't seen Robotron 20 whatever the fuck it is,
2084.
yeah,
Hello.
if they have, well, I just called it Robotron. I never remember what the number was.
Okay.
Yeah.
If they haven't played it before, they're no fucking Iron Gamer. Is what it boils down to.
So I have been asked on a couple occasions to bring back Iron Gamer. I'm not sure if I want to or not yet.
Yeah. And at this point, it's Alex's call, but I'm sure he would be very happy to have you bring more cool content to the room.
Tell me who you
Loader
are, and I'll
shooters.
tell you what you play.
Exactly.
I still believe Pac-Man Versus was a high point.
Pac-Man
Oh,
versus,
that game
yeah,
is
and I
awesome,
still
yeah.
think if you're going to do Iron Gamer, that you need to take a bite out of a controller.
Yeah, yeah.
a
I'll-
big pepper that's shaped like a controller.
Yes. Yes, I have a ColecoVision controller. I can break all my teeth on it. I'll be like, I'm bleeding.
The Atari 2600 sticks are spongy in the middle.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, but it's not actual sponge.
You dial your home
Says
phone number
you.
with your teeth on an Intellivision controller.
You could.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah,
Those
so-
were awesome. You could club a baby seal with that controller.
And then
So-
pull it back because it was spring loaded or it was on
So-
a cord.
So we have Gamecles and Iron Gamer, which I wouldn't be able to give away a system nowadays.
Yeah, that's not cheap.
Game is more than enough, I'm sure.
Well, I don't even think I can give away a game now.
Yeah.
Well, maybe the tournament or maybe NDK would help sponsor.
It'd be, a $5 gift certificate at
You could give
Hot
away.
topic.
You
It'd have to be
could,
somewhere.
It's a hot topic.
have to be some weird merch or something.
No. You could give away what we give away to every single tournament winner at NDK.
Case of the Ass.
Glory. That's all you get. Glory and
That
and a
movie?
trophy. Yeah,
Oh,
that movie.
wow.
Yeah, that movie.
Here's glory.
Yeah, second place gets Roots. Third gets the color purple.
I don't know. I think at this point you could give away a game from your collection for the next 1 million years.
Yeah, but
and
then he'd
still
be
not
giving away a
notice.
game from his collection.
Yeah, don't you see my problem?
Yeah. I think he'd rather give away
Well-
organs.
Yeah. I could dress up as the chairman. I
You
need
could.
a cravat and a dickie, I think. I'm not sure.
You don't have one of those already? Something's wrong.
I have a Wii.
And the Wii joke takes it home.
By the way, Diehard Gamer Radio is hosted by 12-year-olds.
Speaking
So
of,
near.
so how did that in-person rage quit go?
Oh, the in-person rage quit. Okay, so one of the common problems we had with the video game room was well, okay, that was one of the other common problems we had. But one of the problems we would have would be abuse of specifically of controllers. People would get mad and spike them or do something. So I thought, well, thinking psychologically here, I need to put a stop to this, and I need to try and do it long term, which ultimately means I need to scare someone. I need to scare the hell out of somebody. So I posted a whole bunch of stuff. Don't abuse our controllers. Don't break our stuff. Or face the wrath of Bakudan. And then I don't even remember what tournament it was. I think it was like a Dragon Ball Z tournament or something. This kid loses to his older brother. The kid's like 9. So he spikes the controller and storms out of the room. And I was like, okay, here it is. And as far as everybody else was concerned, I got insanely angry. It was all for show. It was all a production. But I followed the kid out into the hallway, which at the time at the old hotel was right there by operations. It was a major traffic area. And I'm yelling at him. I'm chewing him out. And I call into Alex, bring my badge punch, bro. And I'm chewing this kid out. And I punch the kid's badge. And I'm like, get the hell out of here. And he leaves. And I go back in the room, and everybody's like, "Oh man, Bakudan, that wasn't cool, man. That kid really shouldn't have done that. It's cool, man. No, it's all good." And I was like, "It's okay. I'm calm now. Playing it up as much as I possibly can." The story spread beyond what I had ever anticipated.
Do that to a 9-year-old.
Yeah. Well, one of my favorite parts was the later on that day.
Of
This
course,
guy comes
now
into
with
the,
our massive listenership, your secret is out.
Yeah, exactly. But it's already out, so what the hell? later on that day, this guy comes in and he says, well, I understand you threw my son out of the video game room. I said, well, yeah, he threw a controller, and we can't have people abusing the systems and stuff, and this stuff costs money. It's all our personal stuff. And he says, oh, no, I'm with you. He just wants to know if he's ever allowed to come back. I said, yeah, sure, as long as he doesn't throw controllers, he's allowed to come back. I heard later that somebody went into the con ops room and said, yeah, this kid threw a controller and Bakudan punched him. And that was, of course, shorthand for punched his badge. But Rex, head of security, hears that and goes, is the kid dead? And I think it was Mark Salisbury was sitting out in the hall when I had my quote-unquote outburst. And he said it was like the earth split and Satan came up and was screaming at this poor little kid. And I was like, well, was I really that bad? I didn't think I was. But, so I was either the next year or the year after that. I'm behind the tables. And for those who haven't seen it, the video game room has a long row of tables, TVs on them, and the consoles are underneath where we can get at them from behind. So one of the big pains in the neck is you're trying to get this console set up, get everything plugged in, get this game going so these kids can play it. Two kids are sitting there waiting very patiently, and finally I get everything going, and I plug everything in, and I know it's plugged in, but there's no sound. And I'm like, well, okay, I just got to go around and I'll walk all the fuck around the tables here, go up and turn the volume up on this television. No big deal. So I go walking around, and then the kid reaches up to touch the volume control to turn up, and I think, okay, good. I don't have to walk all the way around. This kid's just going to turn up. And the kid next to him grabs his hand and goes, no, don't touch it, don't touch it. They threw 3 people out of the room for touching the equipment. Don't touch it. And I was like, oh, my God, they're self-policing now. I don't even have to do anything. This worked way better than I ever expected.
They're self-aware.
Exactly.
So next year it's going to be, well, Bakudan ripped the heart out of some kid.
The story that
He
Bob,
performed a fatality on a 9-year-old.
Yeah, the story that Bob desperately tried to spread was that we had to switch hotels because I had killed someone and buried him beneath the video game room, which is only partially true. So
There was only half of them?
yeah, exactly. The other story that Bob spread was that I killed the kid and ate him. So
Well, that's what you did with the other half.
that's what I did with the other half. So we
You
had
got
some
full and you couldn't finish it off, right?
I like kids, but I could never eat a whole one. So what else? We've had some other amusing tournaments. One year I decided to have the Video Game Olympics, which I wanted to be about something using the function of the game, but not about actually playing the game. The original inspiration was the amount of time I spent obsessively playing the horseback archery minigame in Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
And the fact that you could get a score, and it was something you could measure and potentially give rewards for. So we did the horseback archery. We had a few other events. We had Dragon Ball Z tennis, where they bounce the energy ball back and forth between the two of them. That was amusing for about 10 seconds. The best one was actually JD came up with the marathon. The marathon was Grand Theft Auto, and I don't know, Grand Theft Auto, whatever, yeah, the big one that was popular at the time. And you had to start on one end of the city and run all the way back to your mansion at full stars. And one guy almost made it. It was actually very amusing because the big mistake everybody else made was you're at full stars, so the tanks are driving through the streets looking for you. The one guy that actually made it was the only guy who didn't stop and try to fight back. He just ran. He was like,
Right.
hello, marathon. That's what you're supposed to do. And he was on the bridge within sight of his house before he got shelled from across the city and destroyed.
Oh.
But I actually, we usually go to a trophy shop to have our trophies put together, and I asked them to just put together medals for me. And so we had first, second, and third place medals. At the time, I had access to a first, second, and third place winner standee thing, and DJ Ben had the Olympic fanfare.
Yeah.
So every time every event was over, we would go and present the gold, bronze, silver, and gold medals to the winners, and they would stand there and wave. It was great. Except for the ones that sucked, but I think that's true of all tournaments. They're all great except for the ones that suck.
Well, yeah.
So
tell us about the DDR room that smells like the taper cage.
oh dear Lord, we had DDR once, and in part because we wanted to try and attract females to the room, which was strange. We used to call the video game room the last shonen outpost. Because NDK was so very female-oriented. that we were the only place in the con where you could go and curse and scratch yourself and look at boobs. And but then we put in DDR, and ultimately, because of the experience we had there, including the destruction of various pieces of equipment, we have outsourced DDR to people that care more about it than we did, which is ultimately...
A Bangalore call center is now supplying DDR for NDK.
Exactly. We've outsourced it to India, and it's worked out great ever since then.
Oh, okay.
So...
That's a nice counterpoint to all those depressing outsourcing stories you always hear.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and it's good to have... we didn't ultimately care about DDR that much in the video game room, but we got a hold of a group that did care about it. And they bring in fabulous content, and we don't have to do anything except give them the space to run it. So everybody wins.
So now you're... And just to mention, Bakudan is actually now... Supreme Commander in charge of NDK.
Yeah, not quite. I'm the director of staff for NDK and the director of gaming.
Staff being actual staff infections.
I'm director of infections at NDK. No.
But they call him direct in effect for short.
That was weak.
Yo.
Yeah.
No love.
Don't quit your day job.
Get raised roof.
Nope.
Have you tried the veal? It's very good.
Don't quit your day job. Seriously, it's more work for him if you do.
Actually, yeah, kind of. So, I think that's as interesting as I can be.
Okay, cool. So we have, if you want to hear more about Bakudan's tournament stories, his book will be coming out as part of the Oprah Book Club.
It's going to be a Ken Burns 7-part special on PBS about it as well.
And there was Bakudan standing in the field playing defender, and
there's actually no video for it in total Ken Burns style. It's just zooming and panning of different
Oh,
photographs
for fuck's sake.
for like 12 hours.
That's not inaccurate.
I know.
Oh.
Like the origins of Bakudan in the 1920s.
Yeah. How come Ken Burns baseball hasn't been made into a baseball game? Oh, wait, yeah.
Uh-huh.
There's no baseball in it.
Yeah.
That's downright un-American.
Have you watched baseball lately? It's boring.
That's beside the point.
You don't go to baseball to watch baseball.
Yeah,
You
for
go to
the
baseball to
peanuts and
drink
the-
and eat
yeah.
some dogs and some nachos and
No, baseball
check
is
out the cutie girls that go to baseball games for reasons I don't understand.
Like girls at baseball games?
Yeah, I don't understand it, but there's always there's cute girls at baseball games.
Baseball is a good sport for the same reason that massively multiplayer games are good games, because you can do something else while you're watching them.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they should have it. They should have a function where you could play Bejeweled while you're watching baseball.
You can. It's called your iPhone.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could, wait for my Warcraft steed to get to the other side of the planet.
You used to have to do that in. You still have the little thing where you can fly the griffins and stuff in WoW, right? But they didn't have griffins in Dark Age of Camelot. They just had horses, and the horses there was no autonomous piloting of your rides of your mounts. You just rode them from place to place, and by the time the second expansion came out, you rode to ride from the south side to the north side of the continent. You went and you made dinner. I mean, because there was no fast travel to go between these things. There was no teleporting. You just went forever. It was crazy.
That's awesome.
But it was better than EverQuest.
That's not saying much.
At that time, it was. It's like 2000, dude. There was that and EverQuest. There were two
EverQuest is
games.
still on, right?
What's that?
EverQuest is still running, right?
So is Dark Age of Camelot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sad. Well, we want to thank.
That's impressive.
We want to thank Bakudan for coming, leaving his cave for a couple hours, and then you will be entering the cave again.
You're into your regeneration sarcophagus.
Into my fortress of solitude.
Now we have to feed him half a small child in payment.
Yep.
Yeah.
When
Fortunately, I have. Well, anyway. We'll
your
cover that later.
sarcophagus. When NDK rolls around, ancient spirits of evil.
Comes out wrapped in bandages.
Is that how that works?
Yes.
So thank you for listening to Diehard Gamer Radio for 100 episodes. Not quite sure how we accomplished
Or
this.
wherever you started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sheer
Episode 99.
unmitigated stupidity.
Yes.
Too stubborn, too dumb to stop listening.
Or to stop producing.
That too.
I'll see you for episode 200.
Yeah, but by that time, you know, we've spoken about the future of video gaming, and I had mentioned the comment of future of video gaming.
Thank you for listening to Diehard Gamer Radio. You can visit our website at diehardgamerradio.com and iTunes, or you can email us at diehardgamerradio@gmail.com.